If you ever tried to get your savings in order, chances are you failed a lot. But the truth is, it's not your fault. You just didn't have the right strategies. So, here are 6 proven ways to save $10,000 faster, according to science. The first thing you should do is implement a list contract. So, I remember in high school, I was literally addicted to video games, and I would spend most of the money that I earned from working in supermarkets or my side gigs on buying new video games. And for the longest time, I could not figure a way out to snap out of this addiction cycle. But then I came across this research paper about commitment devices that says to prevent your future self from giving into temptation or giving into something, you and your present self should set a trap for your future self. And I realized how much of a difference this actually made. When one day I was trying to snacking so much. So I just asked my mom to hide my favorite chips, Doritos, and sweet chili. And do not let me eat it. And surprisingly, the next time that I was craving these snacks, I was able to fight my cravings because I knew I had to go through a whole process. I had to ask my mom, she's going to say no. Then I have to sneakily look for this stash. And that's when it all clicked. You need a Ulysses contract to save money. And here's what that means. Number 1, if you are spending more money than you want, you need to add internal friction to it. Okay? So for example, people on Reddit, I found this, freeze their credit cards in a block of ice, so they have to wait for it to unfreeze before they can use it. Or this guy who cuts up his cards so that when he actually needs to make a purchase, he has to order new cards to be delivered from the credit card company or his bank. And I do think these two internal frictions are overkill, but hey, whatever works. Number 2, you want to also add external friction. And the way I did it was, I remember like I would give my friend a signed $50 check, and I told her that she can cash the check if I ended up playing video games more than 1 hour a day. The point is, adding like multiple friction points internally and externally makes it harder for you to actually spend the money. And the harder for you to buy something, right, the less likely you're actually going to buy it on impulse. And that brings us to number 2. You need an automated money system. So, something that I've realized over the years about saving money and managing money is that even if you know everything that you need to do, you could still mess everything up. And I only realized this when I try to eat healthier as an adult. You're going to see a pattern where I try to eat healthier all the time, and then I give in. And I started to notice right after a long day at work, all my good intentions of trying to eat healthy just poofs, right? It just disappears once I get home. And again, I could not figure out why until I came across this research study that says our brains are making thousands, tens of thousands of decisions throughout the day. And each decision that we make uses up mental energy so that by the end of the day, our brains are mentally exhausted. And then it becomes easier to give into temptation. And I realized how powerful knowing this was when I set up my first money automation. And surprisingly, without any effort, right? I spent less money and I saved more money than ever before. And this is when everything started to make sense, right? If you are serious about saving money, you can't rely on your willpower or your motivation alone. You need an automated money system. And here's how. Number 1, and just showing you a small part of my system, it kind of looks like this. So a portion of my paycheck automatically flows into my pre-tax retirement accounts, and the rest flows into my command center account, which further splits into sub-accounts based on my goals. My post-tax retirement and savings accounts automatically pull a fixed percentage from my command center account. And then my subscription and my bills are automatically paid for with my credit card, which my command center account then takes care of on autopilot. It sounds very confusing, but in short, I spend a couple minutes a month managing my money and I save more than ever before. Number 2, so I've talked about financial automations a lot on this channel before, and every single time I do it, I would get so many comments from people asking how they can do it. So I created a free 5-day savings challenge that over the next 5 days, I basically teach you step by step how to set up your own money automation system so you can save more money without feeling overwhelmed or having to pinch any pennies. When I fully applied and implemented the system, it didn't just help me save a lot more money, right? It can completely change my relationship with it. So if you want to join, it starts on Monday. It's completely free. You can grab your spot by clicking the link down below or just scanning this QR code. The point is, I've seen so many people feel so fired up, right? Ready to take control of their money and to change their lives. But motivation and willpower alone only last so long. After a few weeks, they just give up. The trick is to make the process as easy as possible, right? So it doesn't feel like an uphill battle. It should feel like just taking a walk in the park. The next point is the 30-day rule. And this is actually how I learned about dopamine, which is the pleasure chemical in your brain. The reason that we buy so many things all the time, and let's just say ice cream, right? Random spending is because when we actually get the ice cream, our brain releases a bunch of dopamine and we feel really good. But a lot of people don't realize that most of the dopamine that our brain releases is actually released from the anticipation of the purchase and not actually after you get the thing itself. Does that make sense? And I can pretty much tell you this from my experience. And I'm sure you can relate to this. Like every single time that I buy something that I've wanted for a while, like this water seltzer machine, right? I would get really, really excited about it. Then within 1 to 2 weeks, I would completely forget about it. And I'm just back to my normal state of happiness. And I'm not alone in this. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. The average person drops about $30,300 a year on impulse purchases, and almost half of those end in regret. The best way to still get that dopamine hit without spending money is to trick your brain to release just enough dopamine to get your fill. And the way I found to do this was implementing the 30-day rule. And here's how you do it. 1, the next time you see something that you really want to buy, open up your phone and create a list, okay? And call it the not now, but later list. And you just want to write that thing in there, and your brain is going to release dopamine and make you feel good about it because you are anticipating the purchase, and writing it down just solidifies that fact. Number 2, force yourself to wait 30 days before you buy that thing. And if by the end of the 30 days and you still want to get that thing, then go get it. But what happens 95.75% of the time is that after that thing, that item has been on the list for like 10 to 12 days, let alone 30 days, for me at least, I realized that I actually didn't want the thing in the first place, and it was just an impulse purchase. And that brings us to the next strategy, which is the 1 rule. And this applies when sometimes you just have to buy something like last year, right? I wanted a long coat for winter. I already had one from 8 years ago, but it was too small for me. So what I did was I just looked online. I got one from the cost of like $400. I tried it on and I immediately was like, heck no. This $400 coat felt mad paper thin, and it felt like I wasn't wearing anything, right? That's how bad the material was. And then one day I was in a thrift shop and I found this. This bad boy is 100% wool, made in the USA. It's vintage, so the quality is superior to anything made nowadays. And it only cost me $12. The thing is, sometimes you just need to buy something, like if something broke or you just need it, right? In these cases, the best way to save money is by following the 1-1 rule. And here's how you do it. Step 1. Try to only buy something new if you are replacing something that's broken or it's too small or it's worn out. Step 2. Try to buy the replacement secondhand because old stuff, vintage stuff, is usually a lot better quality and is more affordable. And if you can't find it secondhand, it's all right. Just buy it new. Then step 3. Once you get the replacement, the old thing has to go. Like if I get a new laptop, then I'd sell the old one on eBay or whatever. And if I can't sell it, then I'll just donate it. The point is, instead of buying a bunch of stuff that you don't need, try to only buy something new when you have to replace something old. Also, let's say you want something completely brand new, like a Ninja Creamy, and you never owned one before. If you manage just fine without something up until now, and you are trying to save money, that's usually a sign that you don't actually need it at all. Okay, so I recorded this next one after I finished the entire video already because it's just way too good to leave out. so I'm going to include it now. But this strategy is to create a money map. From what I've seen, a big part of why people struggle to save money is because they don't know these four numbers, right? I call these the 4 C's. And these are the only numbers you really need to focus on for this to work. The first number is capital, okay? And these are just example numbers I made for this video. This is essentially your take-home pay, the amount that gets deposited into your bank account after taxes. Next are your core needs. So think of your housing, your utilities, your food, basically anything that is necessary for your survival. Next is your choice bucket, which is anything you choose to spend money on, to be more comfortable or to have fun. And then you have your compound number, which is essentially your wealth building a bucket. And after you fill out your entire map over here, you're going to get your personal money map score, which indicates how well you are doing financially and what you can do to improve the score. Now, to find your own money map, you can use an app or a simple spreadsheet. Ideally one that is easy to use and does all the calculations for you and gives you a score at the end. If you want to use the money map that I created for free, I'll link it down in the description below. It's free and it comes with a step-by-step video tutorial on how to use it, which brings us to one of my favorites. You need to do quarterly audits, which is how I found out that I was accidentally charged like $250 for a subscription that I had already canceled. Funny story. So occasionally there are wine subscription promotions online, right? And I think the one that I signed up for was like 14 wine bottles from Italy for $60. Now I don't normally drink wine because it makes me really sleepy. But $4 for a wine bottle from Italy delivered straight to your door. So, you know me, Mr. Frugal. I subscribed. I got the 14 bottles of wine in person and then I immediately canceled. But then, not 2 months later, they charged me for another 14 bottles. And this time it charged the full price, a non-promo price, which was like $250. And the crazy part is, I swear they did not even send out another case of wine. And I would never have known about this charge if I did not do my quarterly audit, which y'all, a lot of you guys should be doing, because in 2022, a study was done and people were guessing how much they spent on subscriptions. And on average, people guessed about like $86 a month. But then the researchers dug into this and they found out that on average, they were actually spending $299 a month. Nearly 42% of the participants admitted that they completely forgot about paying for a subscription that they no longer use. So here's how you properly do a quarterly audit. Number 1, every 3 months, okay, export in Excel or Google Sheets your last 3 months of financial statements from your bank or your credit cards. Number 2, highlight the columns with the name of the transaction. Right-click format, conditional formatting, custom formula, and put this formula in based on your own columns. And what this does, it's going to auto-highlight your recurring subscriptions. Next, look through this list and see if you still use that subscription. If you don't, cancel it. And then send an email to the company, their customer service, asking for a refund for the difference because you weren't aware that you were still being charged for it. I've done this a couple of times, and 99% of the time, you will get your money back. Next, for the subscriptions that you do use, but are more expensive than you thought, because maybe the promotion period ended or whatever, see if you can negotiate or find a cheaper alternative. Like, do you really need unlimited data on your phone, or is just 50 gigs of data fine? Then look for all the other things, like the fees from your bank that you were charged for, or any other things that you were charged that you don't recall. So look for the fees or any fraud transactions, call your bank and just ask them nicely to remove it. I've gotten late fees and annual fees, and even like a random paper statement fee waived just by asking. The point is, just like you do spring cleaning for your house, hopefully you actually clean your house. You should also do spring cleaning for your finances because life gets busy, right? And new weeds are just gonna pop up. So this is just maintenance every couple of months. All right, so moving on. The next thing you need to do is called habit stacking. And I figured this out when I realized just how hard it is to consistently force yourself to do something new. and such as actively trying to save money because it's not part of your normal routine, and chances are it's not going to stick. So now what I do is instead of trying to, force myself to do every little thing, I started using what I call brainless habits more effectively. These are basically habits that you already do without having to think about, such as making coffee or brushing your teeth. Like you can do these things while you're half awake. So let's say you have a spinning problem, right? Then the first step to any problem is the awareness step, right? You have to be aware of the problem before you fix it. And let's just say, since I make coffee every morning on autopilot, I can stack on top of this brainless habit to also check my bank app whenever I do it. Meaning, while I'm waiting for my coffee, I will take 30 seconds to review the transactions that I made yesterday. And after doing this habit stacking for a few weeks, checking your spending will just become as automatic as making coffee, and it no longer is going to feel like an extra chore. But being able to habit stack successfully requires you to do two things. Number one, what I want you to do tomorrow is just start taking note of everything you do every single day without fail, and start labeling the ones that are like brainless activities, stuff like brushing your teeth or feeding the cat or commuting at 8 a.m. Number two, the next day, the very next day, pick a simple money habit to attach to one of these brainless habits. For example, every time you brush your teeth at night, maybe you want to review any upcoming expenses that you have or like after you scroll on TikTok, like a money transfer to your savings account or whatever. The point is, your brain loves routines. So, one of the best ways to build a new habit is to piggyback it onto something that you're already doing every day. Which leads me to something that you've got to start accepting. And it's that even if you are trying your absolute hardest to save money, sometimes you still might feel like you're not saving enough. And that might be because you aren't doing these things immediately after you get paid. Click here for the 8 things you need to start doing with your paycheck today. May best here. Remember, you matter most.